Starbase has been in the public eye for quite a while now, with its closed alpha becoming available during the middle of last year. Very recently though, it launched into early access, making it available for everyone. So, first up, what is the game about? Well, Starbase is a huge space-based sandbox builder. Placed in control of a robot, you are free to explore, build, trade and fight as you like. Interestingly, this massively multiplayer title is set in a single persistent universe and can apparently sustain thousands upon thousands of players. Now at this point, it's very important to note that the developers of Frozen Byte have been extremely clear about the state of the game. The Steam store page has an impressively sized banner saying that Starbase launches in a clear alpha state. It also highlights a good amount of core gameplay is currently in place, not to mention the August and September updates which are also referenced, so more on those in just a bit. So I haven't really yet had the chance to play a whole lot of Starbase, certainly not as much as I would like, but what we've got here in this video is the first hour or so, which essentially comprises of playing through the first parts of the tutorial. It's enough to get a feel of the environment and the structure of the game for sure, but not really enough to get a deep feel for things, at least not just yet. So here we are then, the first section of the game asks you to go to get a job. And here we get to the demolishing yard where we can rip apart a ship. And yeah, ship breaking is always a nice fun activity, isn't it? So the tutorial gets you to break down a variety of different sized ships, and as I'm cutting components off here with the cutter, you can see a few little debris just floating around. The slightly larger components will drift off to the left of the screen. They're going into the recycler effectively. One more bit there. Well, that's not going anywhere just yet. Guess I've made the cut a little bit too far back here. We need to try and break it down into smaller sections. So I'm going to place a few more cuts right here. And this part of the ship is already pretty damaged anyway. And yep, there we go. That's drifting away. And so is the second part as well. Next up, let's cut off the rings, or the wings rather. We're going to break off the support structures and a little part of the wing here. And there you go, you can see the components drifting away to the collection area there. So essentially, this part of the tutorial, the first part of the tutorial, just to get you to break down various parts of different ships. Once we've done that, the game moves us on to the repair area, or the repair bay. Here we can repair various ships using the repair tool here. Now this tool is actually tethered to some boxes behind me. We can't see them on the screen just yet, but those boxes basically contain all the resources needed to repair the ship. And there you can see the tether, the little white line. On the bottom left of the screen we can see a little UI element. This is telling us the parts of the scene, or the parts of the ship rather, that need to be repaired. Can't quite work out why we can't repair this thruster though. Maybe we can do that in a minute. And again, you can see the yellow tether there just going off to the right hand side of the screen. So as you play the game, you can either build your own ships or build or purchase ships that other people have built. These inevitably will get damaged, either through collisions or through corrosion or through combat. If you can get them safely home, you will need to repair them. So this is just effectively getting us prepared for that. Trying to locate the rest of the damage here. It seems to be just one device left, and yes, the game is definitely pretty buggy. Maybe I need to get down on the ground here. We'll try that in a moment. Try a few different angles. Doesn't seem to be working. Okay, so we can see on the blueprint section anyway that there are 3 devices that still need repairing. Maybe that thruster isn't one of them. Just repaired one more there anyway. Now, any damaged components should certainly be highlighted here and relatively easy to spot. So it's either just me missing the parts that are damaged here, or maybe it's kind of glitched and just not showing me. I certainly can't see what we need to repair here. Oh, there we go. It's the cargo containers fixed. So that damaged part on the thruster on the back is obviously not damaged, I guess. Right, let's go to the ship terminal. So all of this is set in a vast station, the origin station, very, very big as you can see in the background. We've got a panel here which will allow us to spawn this ship. We need to select the ship. Labourer module. I think that's selected. That's selected. current station and then click spawn. Yep, there we go. We can see that up there. So a very basic looking ship, but no doubt room for improvement. Now, as you may imagine, being in an open area of space like this, we do have a full EVA activity, and that's just a case of pressing the space button. The robot jumps up into space, and then some little thrusters move us about. Press F to get into the seat once you've got the seat selected, and you can see the various ship controls on the screen right here. Now, you can interact with all of these directly, or you can simply use keybinds. Gotta say that the default keybinds are really not very good. They don't feel anything like people may be used to in flying spaceships or even flying arcade-ish type planes in other games, so they do take a bit of getting used to. But of course, you are free to set up your own keybinds if you so desire, something I haven't had a too close a look at just yet. At any rate, soon enough, we're flying off into space to do a bit of mining, into the gas clouds then to locate some asteroids. Now, as you are out this way, you'll notice other players flying around from time to time, all busily going around their own activity, trying to find the respective resources. As far as I can tell, from the outside, it's pretty much impossible to tell what sort of resources an asteroid will contain, although sometimes the internal resources are kind of just peeking out of the asteroid. Generally speaking though, it seems you need to chip away at the asteroid and do a breakdown pretty nicely here. You need to chip away at the asteroid to find the resources that are inside. You can see I've just discovered a bit of resources. So left click to pick away at the rock, and then right click to crush the asteroid down into smaller collectible parts. And again, the tether thing does come into play here. You will need to tether yourself to your ship so that the resources get sucked back to your ship. And you can see that tether line right there. Now, we've got a limited amount of storage space on the ship here, 4 containers filled out of a total of 8. For the tutorial, the objective is to fill the ship in its entirety, so we're going to have to check a few more asteroids. So, with that all done and the resources collected, we're back here returning to the origin station. And you can see just how large that station is from this distance. Quite a maze to navigate round on foot actually, but very impressive nonetheless. At any rate, this is the point where, for me at least, some of the game's jankiness started to make itself apparent. In part, I think that was down to the flight model of the ships. There's definitely room for a bit of improvement here. But it also, for me at least, come down to the nature of the tutorial. The tutorial is pretty buggy. In fact, the game is buggy all round. Again, to be expected, but it does present some hurdles. And we'll see some of that in just a moment. First up, we needed to collect our materials back out of our ship. And yes, you need to be tethered in order to collect the materials from out of the ship. So yeah, I need to attach myself to the relevant point here, which is right there. There we go. And we can then open up the inventory with the I key and drag out the resources that we just gathered from smashing up the asteroids. Now all of these can be used for crafting, which is the next step in the tutorial. And that's where I really started to hit a pretty big bug that prevented me from going any further with this particular tutorial. So place to cut here. Here we are in the crafting building. The tutorial wanted me to build a few additional core containers, which I've done. Down the bottom you can see them. So we're now ready to place them. So yep, down the bottom you can see the icon's red. That means we're not quite ready. That's because we need to go into easy build mode, pressing the full stop key. Now what should happen here is that this block, this module, should snap to the ship I'm trying to add it to. It doesn't actually do that. Now, to start with, I was absolutely convinced that I'm doing something wrong here, and it's still quite possible maybe I was doing something wrong here, but I asked for help in a chat in game, and I even jumped over to the Starbase Discord and asked for some help there, so thank you for everyone that actually gave a bit of advice. One of the suggestions was to press the C key, which toggles the snap to feature. That didn't seem to work, so when that wasn't working, the next suggestion was to quit out the game and try again. So I've respawned in the ship here, and we're going to try and place the module yet again. And just to confirm that this is my ship here, that the ship is actually fully functional, we can get into that. So let's try the whole process again. We need to go into easy build mode. That's the full stop key. There we go. And yet again, the item is got a blue outline. It should actually get a green outline and then simply snap to the ship. Unfortunately, this wouldn't work. And the final suggestion from the Discord server, the Starbase Discord server, which I highly recommend you joining, by the way, there is a link in the video description. The suggestion there was just maybe that my ship itself was bugged. In fact, some people were saying that any ship that was created over 12 hours ago from the point of this recording may actually experience certain problems. So effectively, I would need to restart that part of the tutorial. Not really a major problem and something I'm totally happy to do, but unfortunately I ran out of time to do it for this video. So yeah, this is as far as I got right now. Not really enough to give my thoughts and opinions on the game overall. After all, we're right here very early in, and of course it's still early access, but you know, thoughts and opinions wasn't really the purpose of this video. It was a first look, so I hope you enjoyed it. I do want to come back and do this a bit more often, so yeah, look out for a few more Starbase videos. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.